Hey everybody, Uber Violin Guy, and today we're going to talk about really the nitty gritty of driving for rideshare, and that's when to drive and where to be. So, first off, I want to talk about this beautiful day we're having outside right now. It's pouring rain. Well, it's not pouring right now, but it is raining, and that stinks. But I do want to just a quick PSA. Please turn your headlights on when it's raining. Even if it's just barely raining, okay? Turn your headlights on, all right? Because it just makes it so much easier to see you. You may not need your headlights to drive and to see, but we other drivers need those headlights to see you. And that's how accidents happen, is when we can't see you. Okay, it's the law in pretty much every state that if it's raining, you got to turn your headlights on. Okay, the way I see it is if you need your windshield wipers at all, that means intermittent. That means just a quick, flick every now and then. Okay, then you got to have your headlights on. It's raining enough that you got to have your headlights on. Okay, there's just no reason not to. All right, it's silly, and just be a good and considerate driver. Okay, that part's over. So this video is going to be about when and where to drive to maximize your opportunities. A quick note about me. If you haven't seen my other videos, I am a new Uber driver and Lyft driver now. And when I say new, at this particular moment, I have been driving for about 2 months. I have about 100 rides under my belt, and I drive in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's who I am. I'm learning, and as I learn, I am also then cataloging what I've learned and showing it to you, so new drivers or even less experienced drivers who've been out there a while can learn a thing or two about this industry. Okay, so when and where to drive. I want to get one thing out of the way first before we even talk about some detail work, and that is know when there are events happening in your town. Okay, by events happening, I'm talking about sporting events, I'm talking about concerts, theater, trade shows, Renaissance festivals. There's a giant one here in Georgia, that's why I mention it. Know when those things are and go there, because there's going to be lots and lots of riders, right? Especially at concerts when people have been drinking, especially at sporting events when people have been drinking. Okay. The only downside is it's a real pain in the butt to get to the rideshare area in these places because there's a lot of other rideshare drivers and all that kind of thing. All right. Now, there may or may not be surge pricing for Uber during these events or these times. It just depends on how many drivers are there. So that's an extra maybe perk of picking up some passengers, say at the ballpark when a game is over. The other thing you need to know is the airport schedule. All right, and the airport's a place where you can make a lot of money. Okay, think about it. Uber and Lyft drivers make money per mile. They don't make money for sitting around. They don't make money when they're driving around town without a passenger. They only make money when they're driving a passenger. So it stands to reason the further we're going to drive that passenger, the more money we're going to make. Okay? And airport, both to the airport and from the airport, are going to generally be longer rides that you get more money for. In addition, airport passengers that you pick up are more likely to tip you because they think of it as a service like an airport shuttle or a taxi or a limo that would take you to the airport. And obviously, you would tip them. So they're more likely to tip you, especially if you give good service, help with bags, etc. The downside to that, again, is there could be hundreds of cars waiting in the waiting lot. Okay, Atlanta Airport has a rideshare waiting lot. It's like a staging lot. And you go down and you park there and you get in the queue. And when your number is up, off you go. All right, you go to the airport, you pick up whomever. But that queue sometimes can be hundreds of drivers. Okay, I didn't check it this morning because I almost never go down there. But I guarantee you, at, what time is it now? 9:15 in the morning. There probably are 100, 150 Uber drivers, okay? And that's just Uber X. There could be XL and Select and things like that. Additionally, that's just Uber. There's Lyft also. Handy pro tip, make sure you have the rider apps for both Uber and Lyft, because then you can check where there are cars in your area. All right, now I am sitting in an area that, according to the Uber app that I just looked at, the rider app, there ain't no, drivers in here. I talk good. So, anyways, airport, you got to know when to go down there. Okay, and the best time to go down there is when there's tons of flights coming in. Okay, generally people go down to the airport like 5 a.m. All right, or they start driving around, and 5, like that early morning shift, they're going to get a ride to the airport. And generally when they get to the airport, they're going to get a ride back. The thing is if you get to the airport at 6 in the morning, there's no flights coming in at 6 in the morning. You're going to sit there for a little while. Flights start coming in like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. It takes about an hour. You got to leave about an hour for a passenger to get from their seat on the airplane, off the airplane, through the terminal, on the little train thing that goes through the whatever, get their luggage, and it takes about an hour to then get out to the curb. All right, so smart passengers are ordering their rideshare rides, as they're walking, but know that so that you're not sitting around the airport for hours going, where the hell is everybody? A great way to learn these schedules, or to know these schedules ahead of time, that means sporting events and airport things, is to get an app, a rideshare companion app, I call them, something like Gridwise. Gridwise is a cool free app that tells you events, concerts, sporting events, and will give you the airport schedule. There is a free version that'll give you the flights coming in around about the time that you're looking at it. And then there's another, you can pay for it. There's a paid version where you can see the airport schedule for the whole day. So that's a cool app. This isn't sponsored by them or anything. This isn't a paid ad or anything like that. It's just a cool app that I downloaded recently that I think is very, very, very helpful. So there's really a very basic kind of equation that you need to kind of just know to help you get more rides. And the things that you need to know are, where do riders live and where do riders work? And then along with work, where do they socialize? Passengers need to go to work in the morning and need to go home from work in the evening. So it stands to reason you should be where passengers live in the morning so that you can take them to where they work. It also stands to reason that later on in the afternoon, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you should be where they're working so you can then take them home, or you can take them from work to where they socialize. Think about it. Okay, you've got passengers, you got a guy that works at the mall. All right, mall opens at 10. Should you be at the mall at 7 a.m. waiting for rides? Of course not, because there's nobody there. All right, you should be out in residential area, find a place to hang out. Okay, definitely don't drive around. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second, about dead miles. But be around a residential area, because then you're going to get rides for people going to work. Okay, likewise, should you be hanging out in some neighborhood at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Of course not, because at that time, everyone's at work and then they're coming home. So you need to be where they work. You need to be in, I like to call it civilization. You need to be where people are working, and restaurants, business, industry, whatever, be there so that you can then take people home. Makes sense, right? So let's talk about the 4 kind of shifts of driving for rideshare. The first shift, the earliest shift, it can start as early as you like. Some people are out on the road by 4 a.m. And that shift goes until the morning rush is essentially over, which is like 9, 10 a.m. This is the morning rush. And at the earliest part of that, 4, 5, 6 a.m., you're taking people to the airport. Okay? You're going to be wherever you are. People are going to need rides to the airport. Those flights start leaving at 7 and 8 a.m., and you got to be at the airport an hour and a half early. So also, you're taking people to work. People usually start work somewhere in the 8:39 area. Okay, let's just say 9 to 5 just to make it easy, because everyone's familiar with that phrase. And the 9 to 5ers got to be at work, so you're going to take them to work. All right, there's traffic during this time, so be on the lookout for that. The next shift after that is generally the slowest shift of the day. and that's your 10 a.m. till 2. It's essentially lunch hour for a lot of people. So if you drive Eats, if you drive DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever that is, yeah, maybe you're going to get, a little bit more busy with that, but you're not going to get as many rides. You need to learn your area, learn your town, and try to be where there are the most rides. Okay. Anyways, that's your middle shift. Usually kind of slow. A lot of veteran drivers will drive from 5 a.m. till 9, take a break, and then come back out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So from 2 till, let's say, 7 is your afternoon rush. You've got people going home from work. You've got people going to the airport. You've got people going to sporting events, concerts, things like that. And this is the time where you're going to get a lot of rides, but the traffic is at its absolute worst. All right, think about it. In the morning, you've only got people going from their home to work and maybe to the airport. Okay, but in the afternoon, you've got schools out. You've got people leaving work. You've got people leaving home and going to something social. You've got people going from wherever to the ballpark or to the big theater in town to see this show, or the big concert venue to see some rock star or whatever it is. So you got to that's when the most people are on the road. But it's a good shift to drive because there's tons and tons of riders, and you're going to get a lot of rides, and you may even be surging in parts for Uber. And then we've got the late night people. And this takes a really special kind of driver. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not that special. So I don't like to drive late at night. I generally drive at the latest up until about 6 or 7 p.m. I have a very busy evening schedule for my regular work that I do. So I'm not generally out there after 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry. But these late nights can be very lucrative for people. All right. Especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and sometimes Sunday nights, because there are a lot of events. There are a lot of ball games. There are a lot of concerts, especially concerts, and the bars and the clubs. So people want to go out and get their drink on, so they need a ride home when they have had way too much of said drink. Now, driving late at night, yes, will get you a lot of money. Generally won't get you a lot of tips. Like airport runs will generally get you tips, because when you go to the airport, you're like a cab or a limo. You're a lot more like a cab or a limo when you're driving somebody to the airport, and they're usually business travelers, and they know that, they are going to tip, whoever brings them to the airport. That's a little more common. Okay. But just driving around at 3 a.m., with the drunk people, you're not going to tend to get tipped very well. All right. Because number one, they're going to forget, because they're wasted. And number two, these aren't people that are well versed in tipping. Okay. So, that's a downside of driving late at night. At night, when people have had a few 3, 9 drinks, whatever it is, they're going to tend to not have very good judgment at this point, and they're going to do and say things that they wouldn't normally do and say throughout the course of their regular day. So you need to be kind of a little bit more thick-skinned at night. So that's an extra thing you got to deal with. All right, so those are kind of the 4 shifts of driving. So at the end of the day, what do you need to do? You need to decide what kind of person you are. Okay, do you like getting up early in the morning and being done earlier in the day with your job or your work or whatever? Do you like the nighttime? All right, are you cool with handling, some people that are a little bit tipsy that may leave things in your car or may bring illegal things into your car? Obviously you got to watch out for that. But are you cool with laying down the law in your own vehicle and not getting into a confrontation about it? Then the nighttime is for you. So you need to decide what kind of person you are and what shift is going to work best for you, and what you need to get out of it, how much money you need to get, and then that's kind of the when to drive. Okay, I've told you the shifts, I've told you where to find the people. All right. So the other thing we need to talk about is dead miles. Don't drive around a lot. All right. When you're driving and you don't have a passenger in your back seat, okay, you're not making any money. All you're doing is putting miles on your car and wasting gas. So the trick is you've got to find a place where you'll get some rides, but where you can kind of hang out. And that's usually going to be a parking lot, a large parking lot, like a Walmart parking lot, supermarket parking lots, Target, big, retail areas like that. find a place where you're not going to be suspicious and sit, read a book, bring a laptop, do work, whatever you're going to do, and wait for rides. Okay. If no rides show up, then you need to decide, okay, how many dead miles am I going to drive away to get some more rides? All right. It's not easy, but you need to make that decision. I've been sitting here now. Let's see, we're at what, 5? I've been recording this segment of the video for 5 minutes. I did another segment right before that was probably 7 or 8 minutes. That's 15 minutes I've been sitting here with no ride. Okay, now I know through looking at the driver app, there's another Uber driver sitting in the same parking lot chilling. All right, but this is usually a pretty busy area. So, use the tools at your disposal. Know where the passengers are and where they need to go, and position yourself accordingly. Also paying attention to what time of day it is, and you just need to think about what the passengers need and where they need to go at what time, and you'll do fine. All right, some days going to be busier than others. Today is shaping up to be a really lousy day. I'm going to probably pick up and move here in a minute. I hope you guys do well. I hope this video helps you a little bit. I want you to go out and make that money. I'm trying. We're all trying. Do your best. Let me know if you have questions or anything you need answered, and any ideas for future videos. I'm happy to do it. Stay tuned, and I'll be back with you next time. So for now, this is Violin Guy, out.